Previously on Gabriel Knight. They closed the Voodoo murders case. I can't believe it. There's a secret voodoo cult, and they are dangerous. They killed before, and they are killing now. I have to convince Mosley to reopen the case. Wolfgang Ritter, from Germany. What? He is my great-uncle. This is becoming weird. My family has been fighting evil since the dawn of time, and now I have to pick up the family business. No way. Besides, the only artifact protecting us while witch hunting was stolen centuries ago. Yeah, I'm not getting involved in that. Before we continue the story, remember to like and subscribe for more ASMR gaming content. After the enlightening conversation with Magician Moonbeam, against any better judgment, I decided to drop by the museum again to see if I can learn anything else from Dr. John, also known as DJ. And it's no surprise it was a bad decision. The museum door is ajar, but the lights are all off. As I enter, I feel I'm being watched. A few seconds later, I feel something touching my right shoulder. It's the python. It's out of its cage, and it is slowly coiling around my neck and shoulders. I'm slowly choking, desperately grasping for air. I move my only free arm frantically and manage to hit the room fan switch. Its rattling and loud noise scares the serpent off, and I literally breathe a sigh of relief. A moment later, Dr. John appears out of nowhere, letting me know the museum is closed and I shouldn't be here. He doesn't seem concerned at all that a snake almost killed me. He simply adds, I should better put up a closed sign next time, in his deep and unbothered voice. Honestly, if he wasn't double my size and perfectly able to squash my skull like a ripe fruit with his bare hands, I would punch him in the face, right here, right now. You're lucky, Dr. John. You're so damn lucky. After this near-death experience, I decide to go back to the shop to relax for a second. Maybe hearing Grace pick on me might cheer me up a bit. As I enter, Grace notices I look really pale, like I've seen a ghost. Well, I almost became a ghost. While telling her all the details, she notices something on my cheek. It's a snake scale. Maybe this incident might turn out to be a lucky accident. And indeed it was. As I look closer at the scale, I realize it's a perfect match with the one from the lake. That python was at the crime scene 5 days ago. Dr. John was at the crime scene. I knew it. He's part of the cartel. I believe I now have everything Mosley needs to reopen the case. I have the article from 1810 showing the same vivae are reconstructed from the current crime scenes. They have killed in the past, and they are killing now. They are a threat. I have the note from Professor Hartridge that proves the voodoo is real and not faked at all. And finally, I have a lead to pursue. Dr. John from the museum. As I show Mosley all this evidence, he is finally convinced and decides to reopen the case. But he knows he's now going against orders from his superiors. He has to go solo for this investigation, and I won't be able to talk to him for a while, unless he decides to contact me. I really hope I haven't sealed my friend's fate as I did with the professor. If anything, he's armed, but still, this cult is really dangerous. Good luck, old friend. It's now the end of the day, and I decide to go back to the shop. I try my luck again with Malia, but it does not go well. I call her a few times, but her phone seems disconnected. Damn. This means another restless night with the same nightmare. My feeble and tormented sleep is suddenly interrupted early in the morning by a loud scream. It's Grace. As I join her in the shop, I see a grisly scene. A pattern has been drawn on the floor, and blood from a chicken has been smeared all over it. The chicken is still there, half dead. It is revolting and disturbing. I clean everything up and try to comfort Grace. It is clear that they know about me. They have been watching me. Considering that they know how to take care of people they don't like, I think this was just a warning message, since both Grace and me are still alive. While I try to calm Grace down, a letter is slipped through the letterbox. It's a message from Mosley. It seems many people in the police department and the city board are involved with this voodoo cartel. He needs to go deep undercover to investigate more. The envelope also contains the key to his desk. I might find something useful in it. Today is June 23rd, St. John's Eve. I'm sure tonight the cartel will hold a conclave to celebrate the most powerful night in voodoo. I have to be there. But where are they going to meet? I leave the shop and go to the police station. Maybe I can convince the officer at the front desk to let me into Mosley's office. Fat chance, I know, but you never know. I've been meeting him all week after all. As I enter the department, I sense something is off. I ask the officer if I can go inside Mosley's office, but he looks lost, as if under a spell. He mumbles something like, "There is no Detective Mosley in the department," and then goes back to what he was doing. What? Something is going on here. I go outside and notice some blood on the sidewalk and a dead pigeon. A voodoo spell. Now I'm being paranoid. I go into the side alley and force my way into Mosley's office through the window. I have to be quick. I open the drawer with a key and find a tracking device. That could come in handy. As I'm about to leave, I hear someone thumping on the door. It's the police officers trying to break in. They move and sound like zombies or something. I better get out of the office before it's too late. That was a disturbing experience. While driving around the quarter, trying to figure out how to use Moses' device, an idea forms in my head. From what I've learned about voodoo, various objects are brought when they hold the these ceremonies. I'm pretty sure most of these objects come directly from the Voodoo Museum. If I attach the tracking bug to one of them, I will probably be able to trace the conclave location and join them. A bit reluctantly, I go back to the museum. Using the excuse of asking Dr. John some questions about St. John's Eve, I start looking around for a suitable object. A good one seems to be the small coffin by the door. If I remember correctly, it's called Seiki Madole. I have just enough time to place the bug before Dr. John unceremoniously pushes me out, saying he has to make preparations for tonight's celebrations. I bet he does. How can I make sure he brings the coffin along? Of course, I can leave my own message for DJ on Marie Laveau's tomb. I arrive at St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, and what do you know? There's a new message on the side of the tomb. I copy it down and cross-reference it with the one from before. There's some overlap, but some characters are new. The sense is clear though. DJ, keep eyes on GK, but do not harm. GK is me, I'm sure. Do not harm. The bastard tried to kill me. He must have missed the memo. Anyway, between the two messages, I have enough characters to leave my own message for DJ. So I write, DJ Conclave, tonight, bring Seiki Madole. I hope DJ reads the message this time. Now, the most important part is still missing. Where are they going to meet? The tracking device has a short range. I can't aimlessly wander around the city, hoping to end up in the correct area. Another thing I learned is that the cartel uses the Rada drummers to spread their messages. I bet they are broadcasting the location of their conclave right now. I go to Jackson Square and listen carefully to the drummer, using as a reference the book on Rada drums Grace found for me. It takes me a while to discern the rhythm and the various beats, but then I think I got it. The message is, call conclave tonight, swamp. Let's pay you, St. John. I'll be there. There's only one final touch missing. I have to fully resemble one of their own. So I ask Grace if she can paint a snake on my chest, using the sketch I took of Crash's tattoo as a reference. She's not too happy to do it, because I tell her I'm going to a masked party with Malia. But in the end, she reluctantly agrees. I'm not sure if she actually believed me though. Oh well, doesn't matter. A few hours later, it's time to leave. I reach the bayou and take out the tracking device. There's a signal that brought the coffin. After wandering for a few minutes in the bayou, I finally reach the place of the conclave. It seems it has already started. I hear the drums and people chanting. I quickly remove my shirt, wear the crocodile mask, and join in. To no one's surprise, Dr. John is here, dressed as an eagle. A few moments later, the full celebration starts. A woman appears, very likely the priestess of the conclave, the Mamaloa. She's wearing a leopard mask and starts dancing frenetically, holding two bleeding chickens. Gross. The sound of the drums gets louder and louder. Something fills the air, like they sprayed a substance. I feel dizzy all of a sudden. All the noises around me mix into one anamorphic sound. Yet I can discern some distinct words the attendants are chanting. Tetelo, Tetelo, come take our bride. What? Tetelo, the voodoo priestess from Gunter's diary? I can't focus on my thoughts though. The chanting, the drums, and the suffocating humid air are too much to bear. Almost in a trance, I remove my mask and approach the Mamaloa, removing her mask too. Oh no, it's Malia. She recognizes me as well, but suddenly she loses control. The Loa, Tetelo, possesses her. In this state, Malia is not herself anymore. Malia, or rather Tetelo, looks at me and immediately senses the blood of my ancestor in my veins. Like a fury, she jumps onto me, trying to stab me with a ritual dagger she's holding. I manage to dodge a couple of swings and then run deep into the swamp. While running, I hear Tetelo shouting, "I will find you, I will destroy you." My mind is confused. I've lost track of where I am, and I feel exhausted. Suddenly, I fall down and pass out. Some hours later, I wake up. I'm in my bed. What? Was it all a dream? As I look up, I see Grace looking at me. She saved me. She didn't believe the story about the costume party with Malia and followed me. Well, all things considered, it was not a complete lie. Anyway, somehow Grace managed to bring me back to the shop. God knows what might have happened to me if she hadn't been there. Thank you, Grace. It's all starting to make sense now. Since I started looking into these voodoo murders, I've been dreaming about Gunter and Tetelo like a premonition or a warning. Something deep and ancient has woken up in me. This witch hunting thing that's been in my family for generations. And Malia, oh God, she's the head of the cartel and a murderer. No, I can't believe it. It's Tetelo. Malia is just being used by that evil spirit. All of a sudden, this voodoo case has become ripe with implications and deeply involves my family. I better call Uncle Wolfie and seek advice from the current witch hunter in charge. As Grace mentioned, I'm just stumbling through my destiny, and my very life is at stake. I tell Wolfgang about last night's events, and he is indeed worried. Things are worse than he thought. He fills me in about our family role as Schattenjägers, shadow hunters. That's the correct translation from German. This role has been bestowed upon us centuries ago. The family records go back to the 13th century, but it might be older than that. It is not known who gave us this role, but what matters is that all those stories about demons, vampires, witches are real, and it is our duty to protect humanity from them. Unfortunately, our powers and fortunes have drastically declined since Gunther lost the talisman 300 years ago. All the Schattenjägers since then have been trying to locate it, but failed. The events of last night, despite being disturbing, gave Uncle Wolfgang renewed hope that things could finally turn around for our family. He is convinced that Daedalus' power is augmented by the talisman, meaning the artifact must be with Daedalus' remains. But where? According to Wolfgang, there are two possible locations. The remains are either somewhere in New Orleans or have been returned to the tribe's homeland in Africa. Africa? I recall Professor Hartridge's findings and tell my uncle about the Agri tribe and their probable location in the Republic of Benin. Uncle Wolfgang is ecstatic. This is the best lead he has ever had in decades. The plan is clear. I'll see if I can find Daedalus' remains in New Orleans, but I must be extremely careful, while Uncle Wolfgang will use the Schattenjäger library to identify the exact location of the Agri tribe. He also extends the invite to join him in Rittersberg as soon as possible. After all, New Orleans is not a safe place for me anymore. I'll think about that. Where should I look for the remains of a long-dead voodoo priestess? The most obvious place is the Getty family tomb in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. I remember the door to the tomb was locked with an electronic mechanism, though. Well, I'll figure something out. To my surprise, the mechanism seems unlocked. I press the button, and yes, the door opens. As soon as the door opens, I hear a smashing noise, and when I enter, the only light is broken. It's dark, but luckily I have a flashlight with me. Time to open some drawers. Unfortunately, they all contain old and dusty bones of Malia's ancestors, but no talisman. Then I open a drawer with a strange symbol on it, and find, oh no, it's Mosley. They got him too. Seeing Mosley's body lying there, cold and lifeless, shocks me, and I let the flashlight slip from my hand. As I kneel to retrieve it, someone hits me on the head, and I'm knocked out. Some minutes later, I come to, pick up the flashlight, and look inside the drawer again. The body is gone. What the hell is happening here? Before leaving, I notice Mosley's wallet lying about. I pick it up. It's the only thing left of him. Quite shaken, I go back to the shop. Maybe it is indeed time I go to Germany. As I enter the shop, Grace lets me know that my uncle called. It seems he found what he was looking for, and said it was time for him to do his duty, and that Schloss Ritter is now mine. That sounds ominous. Anyway, I'll have time to talk with him about this when we will finally meet in person. There's only one problem. I have no money to pay for the flight. Well, there's a solution. Mosley's wallet contains his credit card. Sorry, old friend, but it's for a good cause. Half a day later, I'm in Rittersberg, Germany, in the middle of Bavaria. Castle Ritter looks fantastic, at least from the outside. I'm wondering how high are the running costs for this thing. I'm greeted at the door by Gertie, my uncle's assistant, and to my surprise, she informs me that my uncle is not home. Apparently, he left in a hurry, without saying where he was going, but he gave her instructions to make me feel at home. I really hope she hasn't prepared any surprise voodoo ritual just for me. I bet Uncle Wolfie followed up on the lead pointing to Africa. I have to find out what he has discovered about the Agri tribe. in the next episode. A wheel within a wheel, just like Professor Hartridge said. That's where the Agri tribe is coming from. Uncle Wolfgang is convinced Daedalos' remains and the talisman are inside the sacrificial table. How can we open it though? It will require a human sacrifice, I'm sure. Grace, where are you? Oh no, they've kidnapped her. Bastards. I will save you, Grace, and Malia as well. Daedalo, this time you won't have the upper hand.